All right, well, welcome back to Behind the Grind. And today I'm so glad to be sitting, actually I'm in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Where am I in Puerto Rico right now?
We are right now in Cataño, Puerto Rico.
Awesome. I am sitting with Pastor Jose Mendez, and it's such an honor to be here today. How are you doing today?
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to have you here in the house today.
Awesome. So today, we're going to take a little turn here today. Behind the Grind, obviously, we're talking a lot about businesses and hustling and trying to get your business and different things started. But, as many of us are facing right now with everything slowing down, we need to talk about how things may change after this slowdown. And so what better way to do that than to talk to Pastor Mendez, who has possibly some insight for us
yes.
on what we should be doing and possibly, there's some things that he has recovered from through Hurricane Maria, through the earthquakes here in Puerto Rico. As a leader, he's gone through a lot of those different changes, and there's probably some insight that we can probably glean from him today. So,
yes, sir.
But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about you. We were talking earlier, and you came here to this place of pastoring. How did you get into pastoring?
Well, it was the true call of the Lord. We received this word to open this new church down here in Cataño about receiving His word, and when we receive the word, that's the only thing that we need.
Yes.
We don't need the building. We don't need the sound system. The only thing that we needed was the word of the Lord.
Yes.
That's the instruction, the inspiration of the Lord to do it. And 7-8 years ago, we started pastoring in this area, and hopefully, and thanks to the Lord, right now we have a building and we have a good church, not as the building structure, as the people that comes here and receive the word.
Awesome. You know what I fail to relate? A lot of people, again, I'm in Puerto Rico, and a lot of people fail to realize the connection the U.S. has here with Puerto Rico. And so this is not your, today you're doing an interview today in English.
That's right.
Right? And this is not your primary language.
This is my first time making an interview in English. So.
And I'm so, and I'm so impressed. I've been here in Puerto Rico, and one thing here in Puerto Rico, there is so many individuals that are able to speak multiple languages, specifically English and Spanish.
That's right.
And, the ability to go back and forth is pretty tough, I'm sure.
Yes.
So today we're sitting here and talking, and I appreciate you doing this interview in English for me.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for the invitation.
And I think there's a lot that you could share by doing that and help people, others out there that are in the same.
Yeah, I'm taking this time to say to all the people that speak Spanish and also know English that this is the time for us to start getting to the language of the English like a challenge for us.
Okay.
We are prepared for this, and we have to communicate. So we have to develop our skill for communication, so
right.
the people can understand and everything. So if we take that time, then we are going to have the opportunity for the people who live in the States that we are part of them,
right.
and we can work together for the kingdom of the Lord.
That's awesome. Now, and I also know that you let's talk a little bit about your family, your wife, and you have a beautiful daughter. And I think you've even mentioned about your daughter speaks another language in addition, or is working on another language.
My baby is working in another language. We are trying to teach her to understand French.
Oh, wow.
We want to develop that skill in language for her because we want her to be like an access to the kingdom.
Sure.
Because sometimes we have a word for these nations and we don't know the language, so we are we cannot connect with them. So we are preparing her to be an access for the kingdom of the Lord, so she can be an interpreter for the people.
That's awesome. And speaking of interpreter, a few years ago I was here in Puerto Rico,
yes.
And your services is set up in such a way that, you're such a servant of the Lord. You noticed that I struggled a little bit with the Spanish, and you had someone there positioned to help interpret the message for me. And I think that was so impressive. I wasn't expecting it. I showed up, I said, Lord, I don't know what's going to happen. But I could feel the Spirit of God in the place, but you took it a step further, and you had someone there to help me with that. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, thanks to the Lord, we are already have this scope, this vision,
sure,
to be prepared for the people that comes to the island and are trying to to go to the church and have somebody to be interpretive for them.
Right.
So a few years ago, we have this lady who comes the first one. She comes to our church.
Okay.
And she doesn't speak Spanish. So for that day on, we are being prepared for that. Even though I try to, we start bringing English classes to the people of the church, because the truth is the Puerto Rican know how to speak English, but they are fighting with the fear.
Let's talk about that. You say that. So they do, the people of Puerto Rico does know how to speak English, is what you're saying?
They know how to speak.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think one of the issues that they have is every
so
time
was it taught, I'm sorry, was it taught in school or?
Yeah, in the school they teach you English.
Okay.
From the first grade until the high school.
Okay.
So one of the things that they need is to have practice the language.
Right, that's true.
And that's the biggest issue that we have here. If they don't practice the language, they don't perform well. And they think that they are not performing well because every time they talk, somebody start laughing for them.
Okay.
So they stop. They don't want to go further than that.
Oh, wow. Okay. So they're assuming that they're not speaking it well.
That's right.
I get what you're saying. Okay. But that's interesting. Wow. So since grade school, English. So let's talk about that with the culture. So the culture and the history of Puerto Rico. A lot of people don't know a lot about Puerto Rico. So if we just briefly share a little bit about.
Well, the Puerto Rican culture is very big, very colorful and everything. We have good gastronomic food. The food over here is
food is very good.
It's great. It's great. We have.
What did you have me eating? I had
mofongos.
Mofongos.
We have tostones today.
Yes, it was very good.
And the rice and bean and everything is good.
Yeah,
it's really, really good. But the culture is very. The culture of Puerto Rico is very. In the performance, in the artist area is very unique.
Okay.
We have a good people that paints.
Creative.
Very creative.
Yes.
And we also have a good people that are so talented in the music.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So is a culture that is really beautiful. It's really beautiful. Also, we have great beaches. We have a lot of historic sites to see. So everything is very beautiful.
It's interesting you say that. Obviously, before I came to Puerto Rico, I thought it was all beaches. So I thought the beauty was all in water and beaches. But I found out there's a lot more, right? Yeah. The mountains.
We have beautiful mountains. We have a lot of the ancestors' sites to see, like the Indians and also the Spains that used to live here in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
We have caves. We have we have beaches with white sands, with dark sands. We have beautiful view. And the truth is the island is not too big. Only two. You take a car from metro area, you drive 2 hours, and you are already in the west part of the island. It's beautiful down there too.
They tell me you can kind of circle the island in one day if you try.
Yeah, right? You can do it in one day.
Wow, that's awesome. So let's today. So we started off talking a little bit. Again, we want to talk about the slowdown that a lot of people are experiencing right now.
Yeah.
With we would call it, I guess, a pandemic. With everything that's taking place, and so some of us aren't familiar with a world that something happens all of a sudden and it interrupts your world, disrupts your world, stops your world, slows your world down. And again, I'm just relating to the recent experiences that has happened here in Puerto Rico. Obviously, we had the hurricanes, we had the earthquake, and so you've experienced some type of shutdown. So I want you as a leader to help other leaders today share how do we rebound from a slowdown? Like when things stop, things are interrupted. How would you instruct or lead others during that time?
Okay, it's very dramatic because you don't have the power, or you have all the dominion to stop what is going on.
Right.
The first thing you have to do is you have to be concerned about what is happening around you.
Yeah.
Around the people that is with you, about what type of things you want to do. And know that even though you have a plan, you have to work day by day because you don't have the opportunity to travel freely like you used to do. You don't have the opportunity to have
restricted in on those things that you're used to.
You don't have the opportunity to get supplies and everything, and also you don't have the opportunity to get contact with the people. So in that case, you have to be dealing day by day with this situation, and as a leader, you have to take day by day strategies, and also to take slowly each one of them, because it's not going to go so fast as you usually go.
Okay.
And it's important to have that, because if you don't know that, you are going to get so frustrated, and then you are going to think that nothing is going well.
Right. Yeah, and that's interesting, especially as leaders. A lot of times we want to get in there and control everything. We want to, not that we're controlling, but we're used to knowing where things are. And then when a crisis or a disaster happens, there's so many unknown things that take place. And then there's people. So at the end of the day, you're responsible in most cases for others. You're not only responsible for yourself.
That's right.
You're responsible for others. And so when someone picks up the phone and they've had some type of tragedy, what is generally going through your mind? How are you handling?
The first thing you have to start thinking about is what can I do to help?
Okay.
And for that, it's better to be prepared to have this team around you, near this person. So you have to identify people around you that are near, and to assign this area for them. If something happened, that person represents you, and that person have to go by your direction and to supply or to see what happened.
So what you're saying, you make sure that you empower others.
That's right.
To make sure that they can be.
You need the whole team working together with you, because it's hard.
Right.
It's hard. It's really, really hard, because sometimes if you don't have the team working with you and have the same thinking that you have, you are going to be fighting with this situation that this person can help this one, but doesn't want to do it because they don't want to get their supplies to help this person. So you have to deal day by day, the situation. You have to see what happened, how to handle it, and to see if we can help, which way we can help.
That's good. That's good. I think that's interesting that we really think about it, because that's things leaders, again, we need to understand. It's our team.
That's right.
It's what we build around us. So before the tragedy happens and before things happen, you've already established leadership. You've already established.
We try to give them the vision. We try to get them the resources to know. Because one of the things is, if I have a leader, if I have a leader and the leader doesn't send me an information and doesn't give me a key or doesn't give me nothing, I will feel like I am alone, even though I have a leader.
So they need to hear from you.
That's right. So even though that we are right now in Puerto Rico, we have the shutdown.
Sure. So the same thing is happening here as well.
That's right. That's right. We are trying today to start giving the team that strategy that they are going to be moving on that strategy because we don't know what will happen tomorrow.
We don't.
We can do something today, and tomorrow everything is changed.
Things that we plan today could change.
That's
and things
right.
are changing rapidly.
That's right.
And so one of the big key things of leadership is, especially today more than ever, is adaptability. Being able to be adaptable, be willing to change. Because if you're stuck in your own way,
oh my God, you're hitting the point.
It's going to be really tough.
That's
and
right.
so let's talk about that, because one thing that, obviously those, and I'm saying those because, there's been things that have happened probably on the state side in some places, but all the country hasn't experienced a shutdown, right?
That's right.
So a lot of us want to pick up as usual once everything is over, once the lift is over. We want life to go back the way it is. And sometimes life may not go back the way it was, right? You may come back to a house that was destroyed or a job that no longer exists. How do you counsel or share to others when they're walking back into a place that has changed or something has changed?
That's the hardest part of everything. We are trying to let them know that they have to learn about an opportunity.
Okay.
Because if they want everything back as used to be, they are going to be frustrated.
Okay.
I think one of the key that the leader has to have is if something changed, even though it's changed, you continue to be the same person. So you can work with that situation and establish maybe a new way or a new path.
So constantly looking and seeing what is the what I can get out of differently out of this,
That's right.
Get something out of this.
When we was hit by the hurricane, we doesn't shut down the church. We continue making service outside the building.
Really?
So
you were worshiping outside?
Yeah, we started making the service in the parking lot.
Okay.
Without power, but we have our heart to worship the Lord.
Wow.
Because we can buy a big generator and we can have electric power in here.
Sure.
But when we saw the houses around, without power, you feel bad.
Right.
So we start making all things and helping the people that lives at the back of the church, trying to bring ice on that time.
Okay.
But the people who has power.
So you were actually serving during this time too.
Yeah.
Still.
We continued making the church service, but
you were serving others.
Yeah, we invite the people of the church. If you have power in your house, can you bring ice, because there's a lot of people that lives around us that doesn't have power.
What about in the community? Was there, you open yourselves up to the community?
Yeah, we connect with people that bring supplies from the States, and we help them to distribute the supplies for the people on the back. So we start working with all the people that wants to help.
And even though you were impacted, you were able to keep your team engaged to serve others.
we get engaged with all the churches.
Wow.
We do a lot of works.
That's good.
In the island.
That's good. That's awesome.
And it's only a little piece,
right?
But we do something.
That's awesome, and I think that's key. And obviously, again, we don't know what we're going to face coming up, but
that's right.
Sometimes we get so focused on ourselves. It's easy to do. Obviously, we do need to take care of ourselves first. Don't get me wrong, or make sure that we're healthy enough to take care of others. But still having that servant mindset to and that's leadership. Really, it is.
That's right.
What people don't realize is getting in the fight really strengthens your leadership.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Actually getting in and being amongst the community. One of the things that's very impressive about you is, even on this last time with the earthquakes, I know that you have always been thinking about how can we serve, how can we get out, how can we bring this, how can we go and help. Is that just your nature, or do you think that's something about? I think relationship with God. I mean, what sparks that?
I think it's part of the way that the church right here thinks.
Okay,
we love to help.
That's good.
We love to help. If we don't help, we are not doing the work. Well, we can preach, but if you don't help, you are not doing.
It means nothing really to others, right?
That's right.
That's good.
That's right. That's right.
Good. Well, wow. So let's talk a little bit about. You're a businessman. I can kind of sense. I've been around you a little bit here. You're a businessman, so we're going to shift a little bit.
Okay.
And I noticed that you have the ability. Well, it sounds like you help empower others. In particular, some of the members of the church.
Yes.
Some of the younger, those that maybe look up to you in the younger generation. You do a good job of that. What is that about, and what do you do to help others and empower them in business and entrepreneurship? Okay,
one of the reasons that I make this is, in fact, that even though I have this knowledge and I've been prepared with this,
yes,
I don't have the right person at the right moment in my life.
Okay.
So if I want to develop a good servant of the Lord, I have to give them the whole I know, the whole knowledge that I have.
Okay.
So they can go forward than me and further than me.
Got you. Yeah.
Yeah, and trying to get more than that.
So let me stop you here. So you're interested in someone else going further than you?
That's right.
And I'm only emphasizing that because some leaders don't look at it that way. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? And you look at you, you're saying, I don't understand that. But you want to see the next generation go further than where you are.
That's the real calling of the leadership. Mm-hmm. You are not a true leader if you don't develop people that can go farther than you.
That's good. That's good.
Because those people are helping you too.
Right.
Because they put you in pressuring you so you can go higher.
They're pushing you there.
That's right.
But they're going to go further. You know they are, but they're pushing you there.
If I take my time playing basketball with kids,
That's a good way to put it. Now you're talking my language.
Hey, I'm not reaching nothing.
If you only beating up on them,
that's right. If I develop them, they are going to push me harder, and they are taking me more time to give better and better and better and better. So
that's awesome.
That's one of the reasons you came here without knowledge, and one of the things I want to give you that knowledge.
Yes.
And if you want to buy a property or you want to start a business, I help you. If I don't know how, if I don't have the information, I go and look for that information and look for the right person to do it.
Wow.
And we are working in that in this church.
That's awesome.
Because I'm not thinking 1 year, 2 years, I'm thinking 10, 15, 20 years.
So almost like a visionary. You're looking down the road.
That's the way. That's the way to see it.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's right.
That's very impressive. So look, you hit on it, real estate. You have a passion for real estate as well. Let's talk a little bit about that. How did you get into real estate?
Okay, I started that business because my father is an investor.
Okay.
And he started pushing me to study to became a realtor.
Okay.
And I don't even like that.
You didn't?
I don't even like that.
Really?
I was connected in the electronic world.
Okay.
And he showed me, this is the better for you. You have to study this, and you have to study this. And then I get, at some point, I was working with 5 investors.
Okay.
And I was buying properties and flip it and sell it for them. So I started enjoying that type of business.
Okay. So that's how you got into it. So now it's...
That's right. So at some point when I started pastoring, I stopped that.
Okay.
And like 2 years ago, the Holy Spirit started speaking to me to tell me, you know what, this is the time that all that knowledge that you have, put it, give it to the guys that are in the church and start developing them. Because if you have that knowledge and you have it without being with me, right now is the time to put it in service for the kingdom.
So, in other words, you kind of went back to it more so to help the next generation.
That's right.
Wow, to pull them further. That's right. That's very impressive. Right. Very impressive.
That's right.
So, I'm very impressed with. We're going to talk about one more thing, and kind of close it up here. But I'm impressed with this this church, right? This setup that you've set up here. Tell us about this. How did you discover it? Was it this? I'm very fascinated. It's a beautiful facility.
Yes. Okay. Well, this church really, when I just said to you, it starts in the parks down the tree. We start preaching the word. We don't need a building.
You weren't even looking for a building.
That's right. So at some point, maybe 7 or 8 months, when we start the church, we start looking for a place because I want to give identity to the people that are coming to the church.
Okay.
And
so it was more so to help them establish identity.
To have an identity, to have this is all the Lord give us this place, so we have a name. We start looking for a place, and when I saw the rent that the people are asking are so high, so I decided with the first group that we have here, we are not going to pay rent. We are going to put the money in the saving account, and we are going to buy. Later, we are going to buy. One of the issues that we have been dealing to complete that was at that time. The 80% of our church was only youth people.
So you didn't have all this generation of money sitting here.
So the youth people doesn't work. They only are studying, and some of the people start saying, how are we
going to do this?
How are we going to be buying? Because they are youth, they are not tithing, they are not offering, they don't have money.
Right. So wait. So you're right. We're getting into the beginning stages of just getting to the tithing part, right?
Exactly. Well, but we start making good administration decisions.
Okay.
And we found this place one day. The Lord speak to our life about this pastor who comes to the youth retreat.
Oh, okay.
And he told me, you know what? The building is already waiting for you. It's in a corner and has an L form.
Now, when he said that, did he tell you specifically what place it was?
No,
or
he only told me you
just saw that in the spirit.
Yeah, he told me you are being passing for that around that building a long time, but you don't see it. But it's already waiting for you.
So he triggered something in you. Wow.
Yeah, so for that day on, I start looking. Every time I see a corner, I see the shape of the building.
And this building is actually in an L shape.
L shape, and also it's in the corner.
And it's in the corner.
So the day I see the building, oh my God, it was very impacting day for me. That for that day on, we start praying for this place.
Yeah.
We make an offer, and thanks to the Lord, we get the
you get it.
Blessing of the Lord.
And I bet that was so impactful for you. Said you had a youth at that time. I bet that was so impactful for them to be a part of that. And
that's right. You know what? We are not people that work in the construction site.
Okay.
But for that day on, all the people that are from this church, they have to learn. If you don't,
so they got in and pitched in to build.
They start learning a lot. We mix cement here. We put bricks. We put everything. To get together this building. So it's a beautiful time. It was a beautiful time.
Awesome. Well, I've enjoyed our conversation. I hope you have. I really have enjoyed your conversation. But, there's some keys here. I'm noticing, building for the next generation is what I'm getting out from you. Seeing vision and walking that vision out. You know what I mean? I think that's powerful, what we talked about today. Being a leader in crisis, running toward the problem. Some leaders, can be tempted to run away when things get rough.
That's right.
Sometimes you have to run and teach others how to run toward it. So it sounds like you're empowering others to do that. So this has been wonderful. My time here in Puerto Rico has been great, and I feel like I have an extended family here. So now,
that's right.
I came to Puerto Rico, didn't realize, couldn't speak the language here, but God strategically placed and had our paths crossed. We are connected, of course, through Jabula Network as well. It was just a wonderful thing to feel like if anything goes down, I know to go.
You have family down here. You have to call, and if you have to come, you can come.
I have a God family, I call it, right here, and so it's been wonderful. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation.
Really do. Is there any way that people can at least connect to the church, or what's the best way if they want to follow?
Yes. You can follow us by the Facebook. We have our page on Facebook is by the name of Jehovah Shammah Int PR, and you can go by our website. We have a website is JSIMPR.org.
And I'll put it in some shape or form in our notes too for people to be able to connect to. But it's been wonderful. I'm excited about what God is doing. I feel that this time that we're in right now, I think specifically the people that you're leading right now, I think are on the cutting edge of helping others with the things that you guys have been through and have come through. God has given you a blessing to, I believe, in this time to help others on a bigger scale, meaning there's some things that they can learn even from this conversation. I think this thing is bigger than you and I that God is doing for you guys. And so I'm so glad that we're in this moment. So until the next time, I hope you enjoy it. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment, and continue to follow us here on Behind the Grind.